Kicks 105.5. Good morning, I'm JJ. It's Wednesday, January 12th at 7:48. Currently 6 degrees outside, and it is supposed to get a little bit warmer as the week goes on. But right now we have Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I am well.
Good to hear.
Thank you.
Good to hear.
With all the COVID crazy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're saying that if you haven't gotten it, you're probably gonna get it. So
Probably going to get it.
yeah. So the select few, like, I haven't gotten it. Well, if I've gotten it, I don't know.
Right.
But I haven't tested positive yet. So let's hope, keep the fingers crossed, right?
Right. Have you gotten your booster?
Yeah, I'm all Modernaed up. So.
All Modernaed up. Modernaed up, suited up, and ready to roll. All right, so what do we want to talk about this morning?
So this morning, there are going to be times that rather than speaking of a specific insurance policy or coverage type, it's sometimes just warranted to talk about mitigation. Things that you can do to keep your home and your auto and your life protected. I always tell people, remember, insurance is a contract between you and an insurance company. So they have things on their end they have to uphold, and you have things on your end that you really should uphold as well. And that is to try to mitigate loss. So when you start getting, and luckily this cold blast we had yesterday is not a prolonged one, but it's still winter time. So it warrants the discussion. So, when you get these prolonged stretches of cold, which we will inevitably get, important to think about how to prevent loss. Say you have baseboard hot water or radiant heat in your home. All right, so you've got water flying around piping throughout your house, and inevitably there's going to be a cold pocket. So if you have supplemental heat, like a wood or a pellet stove, some things to think about would be to keep the thermostats for the furnace or the boiler up a little bit, because if it's not calling on heat, those circulators are going to stop running. You're going to have longer, prolonged periods of cold water sitting, and that's when you're going to find out where the cold pockets are. So you're going to have frozen plumbing, which is covered by your insurance policy. Now, remember, there are certain insurance policies that don't cover frozen plumbing. You might want to check on that on your specific policy, mostly with mobile homes with some companies, or some homes that maybe for any other reason are not eligible for what we call a Form 3 homeowner policy. But most people have that. But say you do get the example where you have frozen plumbing. What do? How do you thaw it out? Safely.
That is
safely.
Grab a torpedo heater. And
that's where we go from the possibility of a frozen pipe or frozen plumbing loss to a fire loss. You might get a torch out, or you might get a space heater, or you might get something like that and not use it necessarily the way you should be, which causes a higher exposure to risk, higher exposure to loss, and then you're in trouble. So the example I love to give people is back in 2017, my wife and I put an addition on our home. We converted a porch, enclosed porch, to a living space, and did a crawl space underneath it. Did radiant floor heat, and put in like a nice electric fireplace. Give us some ambiance. So it's not, you get the fake fire going, and it's cool. And we had a prolonged stretch of cold, and we had that on just to supplement the heat. Never once thought that we should tap up the thermostat. Next thing you know, our radiant floor heat froze. We were lucky. No burst pipes or anything. We called our plumber, who came over, and we realized that was a cold pocket underneath the entire crawl space. So let's get a fan and try to blow some of the warmer air from the other side of the basement to that section. And you know what? Overnight, it released, and we were lucky. But there are going to be times where you're really going to have a frozen plumbing problem. So be safe with that, And then we start talking about implementing space heaters. You think about that fire in New York City over the weekend, how tragic that was. 19-story building with plenty of people who passed away. Too many. A number of kids. Very, very tragic. But they're saying that was caused by a space heater.
Yeah, and things are dangerous.
They can be. And so if you have to supplement your heat with a space heater, be safe with it. Follow do something that we don't always do. Read the instructions. Read the safety precautions. Try to be ahead of it, because, you start attaching those things to extension cords that aren't necessarily rated for that type of use, and most of them aren't. You're going to overheat the extension cord. You're going to cause a higher probability of fire, and next thing you know, you could have a real problem. So it's really all about, in the cold weather months, just being on the safe side. The simple basics, like if you're using wood heat or pellet stove heat, clean the chimneys. Make sure you're taking the ashes out in a ash-approved canister, not a combustible like a bag, which we have seen many times and actually seen many fires as a result. So, it's an ounce of precaution that will just do a measurable amount of good to prevent you from having an insurance loss. But then again, the beauty of it, and don't rely on it. But insurance is there to help you if, God forbid, the inevitable or the unfortunate happens.
Okay, so fire is one thing, but like you had mentioned, pipes burst.
Mm-hmm.
You have water damage.
Yeah.
Would your insurance cover that?
Water damage is covered, and water damage can be very, very pricey. Over the years, I've been doing this for 14 years now, and some of the water claims I've seen are very significant in nature. The dry out cost, because then you have water throughout your property. Whether you have a finished basement or not, you're going to have problems in the basement because maybe you have some personal property down there. But if it came on the second floor or the first floor, you're going to have living space that's impacted. So there's a long dry out process to make sure that those organic materials like drywall and the wood framing, many times the drywall has to be removed completely. It becomes a very expensive and lengthy process. So that's why you want to take a step to mitigate before you commit to something.
Not to mention the inconvenience of you got people in there ripping your house apart.
I will tell you, I don't care how good a claim is going, it's not going to be fun. Because yes, there is a major inconvenience there with your normal routine, your normal lifestyle. And then add to the fact now that all the tradesmen are extremely busy. So try to get somebody in there who can repair the damage is going to be not only costly, and thankfully your insurance will be there, but it'll be time consuming because they have to have an availability to do it. So just try to be careful. And another thing I like to throw out is I got scolded by my wife the other day because we're trying to teach our son, when it's cold, be smart, put a hat on, get gloves, layer up, right? And I'm walking out the house with no hat, no gloves. It was a sub-zero day. And she goes, "What are you doing? We're trying to teach him the right things here, and you're not doing it." And I thought about it. It's like, what if I was on that I-95 stretch in Virginia and got stuck?
Ooh.
Think about how exposed I would be if I didn't have proper layers and ways to cover and put gloves and hat on to keep myself warm. So winter safety tips should also include making sure you have some of your essentials with you as you're driving, because you could be on a road in the backwoods somewhere going to a friend's house or just traveling, and something happens and maybe you're out exposed for a while in this cold. It's not a good thing. So just heed caution in that regard.
Yeah, and when it's I know for personal experience that when the heater goes off in the car and it's below zero, it doesn't take long for that car to get really, really cold.
It will get cold, and it will get cold fast. So do what you can to protect yourself. Just the best recommendation that I could throw out to you this morning. And these are all things that people are going, "What are you, your insurance guy? What are you telling us?" I hate being told what to do, and I get it. I'm the same way. I hated it when my wife scolded me for not wearing my hat and gloves. But it's all stuff that makes sense, and all stuff that we get busy in our routines and our lives and just go. And sometimes it's important to pause and make sure that you're taking proper steps. So that was the point of this morning.
Well, thank you very much. That was some very worthwhile information. And if somebody wanted to reach out to Barrett Insurance Agency, how would they do that?
Sure. Just give us a call, 748-5224. You can find us at our office at Portland Street in St. Johnsbury. We are open to the public, but we do have we do ask that you wear a mask as you come in, just because of the ramp up of COVID currently. You can find us at our website, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in, Mike, and
My
sharing
pleasure.
that with us. And stay warm out there.
Yeah, stay warm. There's the word. There's the phrase of the day.
All right. And we will talk to you again next week.
Sounds good.